Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. I'm Richard Lewis. Joining me as always, of course, is Sam in the background. This is going to be short and sweet and direct to the point. A lot of people have been asking questions about what is happening in the aftermath of all of the gambling revelations. That's revelations that sites didn't disclose ownership, that sites were rigging outcomes, that there was all sorts of unethical, immoral, and potentially illegal behavior going on. A lot of the owners of those sites have gone aground and not a lot's been said since. So we're here just to give you an update. It's been a very busy week in the Richard Lewis Show news department. We've been digging up lots of stories, but we've decided to revisit this one, and in particular Phantomlord's case, because we feel it's very important to highlight what's happening. So a lawsuit has indeed been filed, a lawsuit that specifically names James Varga and Phantomlord Inc. Now, people will remember that there was a class action suit that was filed against Valve and also named CSGO Lotto, OP Skins, and whatnot. Well, the same law firm that was handling that one, Jones Ward, they've filed this lawsuit, and it now includes Phantomlord, CSGO Shuffle, some new additions to it. So there was a press release that was put out, and this was from the Seattle Legal News line. It says a group of more than 30 consumers is suing multiple companies alleging violations of Washington state and federal gambling laws. The consumers filed a class action lawsuit individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated August 4th in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Washington against Valve Corporation, CSGO Lotto Incorporated, OP Skins Group Incorporated, James Varga, Phantomlord Incorporated, CSGO Shuffle, Trevor A. Martin, and Thomas Cassell, alleging they allowed their users to link accounts to online gambling websites. According to the complaint, the plaintiffs suffered damages from having Valve Steam users able to participate in online gambling. The plaintiffs alleged the defendants allowed users under the age of 21 to participate in online gambling despite being aware of this illegal practice. The plaintiffs seek trial by jury, damages, restitution of all monies wrongfully obtained, injunctive relief against the defendant, all legal fees and interest, and all other relief the courts deemed just. And there we have it. So this has gone out, and obviously we all know that Phantomlord has gone to ground. Phantomlord hasn't said anything in the aftermath, and indeed his fellow co-owners, Karen Joris, they've intimated they're getting ready to say things, but then they never follow through and they never go ahead, and we imagine this is because legal counsel has advised them not to. Now, in the aftermath of the story, as you'll be able to see here, Phantomlord has been incredibly nervous and has been living a very modest lifestyle. Throwing piles of money into a pool, just having a good old time, it seems, over in Vegas. It's mind-blowing that you would post something like this to Snapchat while you are awaiting a lawsuit, while awaiting trial for things that you've done. Whatever, I guess that's just how it's going to be with him. He's also made jokes about fleeing to Mexico, been very lighthearted about the whole thing. Now, we don't want to get too much into hyperbole or anything like that in this video. What we want to do is tell you, if you were affected by any of these gambling sites named in this lawsuit, in particular the Phantomlord case, and you feel that you might want to get in touch with the law firm and do something about it, we're here to tell you how. But before we do that, we did talk to one of the lead lawyers on this case, Jasper Ward of Jones Ward. He took some time out of his schedule to do a brief interview outlining the case. So, Jasper, thanks a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and sort of clarify what's happening. Just to put it in layman's terms, what exactly is happening? I understand that there's a class action suit and your law firm is leading the charge on that one.
That's right, and thanks for having me today to talk about it and answer questions about it. Our firm and a number of other firms from across the United States have joined together and have filed a class action suit against Valve, against Phantomlord, against Trevor and the folks from Lotto, against Shuffle, and have brought this case together on behalf of what we hope is every user in the United States who played on any sort of gambling site and who bought skins at what we think was an inflated price because of what the gambling ecosystem meant to Valve's bottom line and what it meant for the price of skins. And so we've filed one lawsuit in Seattle, Washington, on behalf of individuals from, I think, 29 states and overall about 50 people who are trying to represent everybody else in the country who played on any kind of CSGO gambling site.
So just to be clear here, is there any form of age restriction? If somebody was gambling underage, let's say, if they were a minor and they took part in any gambling activity, can they still be a part of your class action suit? That's been a question I've been actually asked a lot by people who believe they were affected by these sites.
That's a great question, and they can, but only if their parent contacts us. We're not really supposed to talk to or allowed to talk to anybody who is a minor, and we need to talk to their parents both to explain the process and make sure that it's okay, and their parent is the one who has to legally sign the contract. So we're happy to talk to parents. We've talked to dozens and dozens of parents, and one of the best things I think we've done is been able to explain to parents why why this lawsuit is not really about what their son, mostly a few daughters here and there, have done, that it's really about what this ecosystem has put in front of kids and and help smooth things over between kids and their parents. Because as a parent myself, the idea that there would ever be something that my kid or my sons could not talk to me about is awful. And so I think one of the things that we've done a lot is talk to parents and explain this whole process, and helped a lot with kids being able to talk to their parents about it, because just as a parent personally, that's something that's been very important to me.
Perhaps a lot of the people who watch my shows and YouTube content might not be familiar with what the purposes of a class action suit actually are. So could you give me a broad overview of what you hope to achieve with this class action suit?
Sure, and this is the kind of case that's tailor-made for a class action, because you have a lot of people affected in the exact same way by one defendant or a couple groups of defendants, and for relatively small amounts of money. I mean, obviously, anybody who loses $100 or $500 or $1,000, that's real money. But the way that these companies operate when you file suit against them is it's really expensive. I mean, it costs $400 even to file a lawsuit. And so the purpose of the class action is to get everybody together to have one individual represent a number of people. And so, usually you do one person from every state. Sometimes it can be national. It just kind of depends. But, our goal is to have a couple people from every state represent everybody from their home state and show how what Valve did violated the law of their state. There's also, the chance that one person can represent everybody in the class. But generally speaking, we like to hear from as many people as possible, because one, we like to be able to keep people updated, because technically someone else is bringing the case on their behalf, but they still have a right to know what's going on. And two, just to assure people, there's nothing you have to do right now, but keep an eye out, or if we have your email, we can at least make sure you're contacted down the line if there's something you have to do. But generally speaking, the point of a class action is it allows a lot of people to join together and only have a few people kind of put their name on the case, but they're representing everybody else's rights, and they're trying to bring the case forward on everybody's behalf.
What's the logic in grouping everybody together? That's another question that's been brought up. There's some people, for example, that believe what Phantomlord did because they believe that he might have rigged or synthesized outcomes is very different to, say, what CSGO Lotto did, or even Valve's involvement in all of this. Some people don't have any ill feeling towards Valve, but they have ill feeling towards people who ran gambling sites. So can you explain the logic of grouping everybody together?
Sure. There's a lot that goes into that answer. I'd say the shortest answer is, ultimately, as the lawyers, we don't get to decide who's at fault. If the judge lets us go forward to a jury trial, and while class action jury trials are very, very rare, they do happen. But in general, it's for the jury to decide based on all the evidence who's at fault for what. And so there are some people who didn't play on shuffle. There's some people who didn't play on lotto, and so they may only have claims against one or the other. But in any kind of case like this, all of the discovery, all of the legal stuff we have to go through to get to trial is all going to be, there's going to be an overlap in a lot of it, and it's going to be all the lawyers for all the people want to talk to everybody who's involved. And so just logistically speaking, having everybody in one case and in one place makes it a lot easier for us to get to trial, because we'll get all the evidence out and everybody will be there and everybody will have their chance to defend themselves and everybody will have their chance to explain, their actions. And then ultimately the jury decides, if the judge lets us, the jury will decide, who did what and what that means for our clients and for the class.
Okay. And just sort of as a final question, a lot of people might not know your expertise in the field. I obviously do. I looked into the law firm when I first heard about the original class action suit you guys were handling. But what makes Jones Ward the firm to take this case on?
Well, I hate talking about myself like that, but I will tell you just in general about our firm is that I'm the lead counsel on the DraftKings and FanDuel litigation, which is consolidated in front of a judge in Boston. The judge appointed a couple firms to be leadership of that case, and I was lucky enough to be one of the people to do that. So I've kind of been in this online gambling, online space for a while in terms of the legal arguments and the legal implication of what is going on. Our firm was the first one to kind of look at this in depth and figure out what the claims were and what was really going on. And we've been working on it almost nonstop for the last 2+ months. I mean, we actually way longer than that. It's already late August now. We've been working on this for a while and working on it every day, and have gotten in depth in the knowledge of who's doing what and how the valve process actually works, and tried to put that forward in the complaint to show that we found Valve's employees or representatives on Reddit answering questions for people, and we put that in the complaint. And that sort of level of detail that we've put in it, and really has, and just from a personal level, this is a case that I really feel strongly about. And really, I have 2 boys, and I have family who is the age of the kids who were targeted by these sites. And when we see wrongdoing, we try to fix it. And so I strongly believe in this case, and that's why we've been working on it for so long, and had been working on it so much, and are planning on working on it for as long as it takes.
Well, Jasper, thanks very much for taking the time out of your schedule and indeed from the case to talk to us and explain that. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, we're certainly going to put that in our description. But if you just want to say that yourself, just make sure we don't mess it up.
Sure. The website is just www.jonesward.com, JONESWARD.com. And then if people want to email us, we have we have an email address set up specifically for this case that is csgolawsuit@jonesward.com. Again, csgolawsuit@jonesward.com. There's an automated response that'll answer basic questions, and it'll ask for some specific information from folks to get started. And again, if any of your viewers are under 18 and want to talk to us, then we need to have their parent contact us. But we've talked to a lot of parents, and we found that's really helped a lot in explaining this if folks are worried about talking to their parents about it. I mean, obviously, as a father, I can tell you there's nothing that my kids can't tell me, and I think every parent probably feels the same way. And it's tough having been a teenage boy myself, it's tough to believe that. But at any rate, csgolawsuit@jonesward.com will answer kind of the basic questions, and then we'll be able to answer specific questions that individuals have.
All right. Well, Jasper, again, thanks very much. And to everyone watching, that's what you need to do if you want to get in touch with Jones Ward. So there you had it. You've heard it from Jasper himself, confident in the case, and definitely wants to hear from you. And again, I can't stress this enough. If you were underage, if your parents agree and give their consent, obviously you can still go ahead and be part of this class action. I've had a lot of young people say to me, I guess because I'm underage, I've just got to accept my losses. Not necessarily the case. If you honestly feel that you have been unfairly impacted upon by this, then definitely get your parents to get in touch with Jasper Warden. We're going to put all the details on how to do that below, even though you did hear the man himself say it. We're going to put it all down there. And that's really all we have to tell you in regards to the update. That while, yes, things have been quiet, there hasn't been any new development story-wise until this, it doesn't look like they're going to get away scot-free. It does look like there is going to be legal action brought against them, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. As always, we will bring you updates, completely unbiased, impartial, and up-to-date right here in this channel. Thanks a lot for watching this video.